This river is pretty blown out right now, but come summertime, it will be prime fishing for trout.
Oh my goodness, it's a really nice fire trout. Oh my goodness. Oh my.
Great fight, probably fought for like 10 minutes. Throughout this video, I'll be showing you guys how I like to scout remote rivers and local rivers for trout. Right now is the springtime. It's a time when things start to warm up and the snow up in the mountains start to melt. And all that snow comes down into the rivers, creating runoff, making them run super high and really muddy and dirty. Right now is the best time to not only get out there and start camping, but also to start scouting rivers to go and fish during the summertime. Before I go out there and start fishing remote streams, I like to make sure that I have the best odds to go out there and catch fish. Whew. Currently, I fish here in Idaho. So what I like to do is go through Google Maps and trying to find major river systems here in the state. For example, the Boise River. I know it's not really remote, but I'm not trying to like burn spots. Once you find a major river to fish, I like to go and find creeks, other tributaries that feed into that river. Once I find a creek, check for access. Is there a trailhead that follows this river? Is there a road that goes up the length of the river? Stuff like that. You also want to double check property rights in that area. OnX is a great app to use. I'm sure there are other ways to find that as well. Hopefully, if you're fishing a remote stream, you don't have to worry about private property. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. So once you kind of find a good creek that feeds into a big river, it's important to see, is this creek gonna have fish? If we're not fishing in Idaho, I don't know how this works in other states, so you can probably skip this section. But here in Idaho, we are really fortunate to have a fishing planner that has a bunch of fish and game data. It's on the Fish and Game website. They go in and they survey the creeks and rivers, and they check and see what species of fish live in there, and it has dates of when those fish were observed. Where I like to start is seeing, is that river it's feeding into, does it have the fish that I'm targeting? From there, I then click on the creek that I'm fishing. You gotta find it on the map, or you can look it up in the search bar. Find the creek. You can then potentially pull up a survey as well as any regulations on that creek. I mean, there are seriously thousands of streams that are on that website that have survey data that is very useful when scouting out rivers. Another way to kind of see if a river potentially has fish is looking at YouTube and looking up the major river that creek flows into. A little plug. I have plenty of videos on YouTube that have me fishing plenty of major rivers here in Idaho, where I do put the names of those rivers. So if you're fishing a tributary of that river, I suggest you go and check out my channel. I explain how I fish them, what flies I use, the time of year I fish, what the weather's like, stuff like that in those videos to kind of give you the best idea of what conditions you should be looking to fish, as well as what you should be fishing with, stuff like that. I like to keep my secret spots secret, but I will give some hints here and there of where I could be. If you're finding this video useful, feel free to drop a like and subscribe to my channel. I will have plenty of summer fishing adventures here on my channel. So working back through our list, first we found a major tributary with fish. Then we found a creek. Then we found out what the access is like to that creek. After that, we found out, does that creek have fish, or what kind of fish are in that creek? Now, pretty much what you want to do is to research what kind of bugs are in that area, stuff like that. This time of year, things are starting to warm up. Go out there and scout out those creeks. Go and flip over some rocks that could potentially be on the side of the river. I know there's no rocks here, but some creeks may have rocks. So I completely forgot to mention this when I was recording the other day. So now that you've figured out a creek that you want to fish, it's important to figure out where you're going to camp and what days you're going to camp. You want to make sure that the river is going to be safe to fish the day that you're going to fish it. So what I like to do is check out USGS Flows. That's a very reliable one. It's a government website. You want to find the nearest gauge where you're fishing. Ideally, you want to be as close as possible, either downstream or even on the creek. If that gauge is downstream of that creek will be a lower flow rate than that spot downstream just because it's higher up. Click on that gauge and then there will be data for 7 days, 30 days, and in the past year. I like looking at the past year to kind of see what the flows have been like and how they fluctuate throughout the year. You know, maybe want to fish that in June or July. If I go to like June or July, see what the flows are like for that creek. Once you kind of figure that out, it's important to check and see where are there campgrounds to go and camp. If you can, try and find BLM land, that is Bureau of Land Management. That land is completely public and free to camp on. You know, it definitely beats, $50 a night at some of these expensive national parks and forests. A lot of these creeks, they're really big, 20, 30, 40 miles long. So it's important to kind of hone down maybe 10 spots you want to fish in a weekend. I go on Google Maps, deep pools or really nice riffles in the creeks or the rivers that look like they hold fish. Then I mark them on my map, spots that you want to fish. What you want to do now, save that map to an offline map on Google Maps. So when you get up to the mountain, you'll probably have no service. So kind of recap the video. You want to start off by finding a major river with fish in it. From there, you want to find a tributary that flows into that river that is probably going to hold fish. Then we found out what the access is like to that creek. Research and see if that main river has fish in it, what type of fish it has, and see if that creek has fish that you want. You want to figure out what bugs could be in that creek, when it will be safe to fish, and places on that creek you want to fish and camp on. Hope you guys enjoy this video. If you found it useful, feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe to my channel. I post plenty of fishing adventures and stuff like that. I try and catch a lot of fish for you guys. So hope you guys do enjoy that. And if you have any more questions, feel free to check out my Instagram. It'll be linked down in my description and probably my comments as well. Hope you guys enjoy and go out there and slay this summer. Rough start to the morning, but can't always be perfect. My girlfriend got me some atomic wings from Wingstop last night before I left, and let's say that did not sit too well with me.